Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is I, Matthew, aka Snacks XXV, here with another video for you. This is video number 14, and as always, I'm super excited to be here with you. Today we are talking about Sony's presentation on E3. We've already talked about Microsoft. We definitely want to hear what Sony had to offer from their E3 presentation. And it was a good presentation. Very solid presentation from Sony. Now, the first thing that they announced is a game that's been awaited for so long. I think over 8 years, if I'm getting it correct. The creator of Shadow of the Colossus and Ico announced The Last Guardian again last evening on Sony's stage. Now, this game's been in development for a very long time. Gamers have been waiting on this game for such a long time. It is announced to be coming out in 2016 as of last night, which was a big deal for a lot of people. A lot of people were going crazy about this, clapping, cheering, praying, all sorts of things. They were really happy to hear that this game is coming in such a short period of time. Now, in Sony's presentation, the game that blew me away was from Guerrilla Games. They are famous for the Killzone franchise, and the Killzone franchise has always been absolutely beautiful, wonderful first-person shooter, but this is very, very different. It is a game called Horizon Zero Dawn, where you play a female protagonist with a bow and arrow, and a lot of, like, I guess you could say seemingly primitive weapons, you know, bow and arrows and stuff that's made out of, like normal resources, it seemed. Almost caveman-esque. But it's kind of like a man versus mech story. There's this beautiful world, and these machines are kind of coming into this world, seemingly trying to take over this area. And you see the protagonist, I didn't get a name, but she is taking down these mechs no problem with this bow and arrow. Now, this was a really cool trailer to me. It was actually one of my favorite games of the whole show, Microsoft included. Because of how cool it was, and it reminds me a lot of one of my favorite Xbox 360 games, Enslaved: Odyssey to the West. Just kind of this man versus mech story. Really, really cool. There was a huge battle with this mech where she took it down. If you haven't seen that trailer, tune into it. Horizon Zero Dawn for the PlayStation 4. It is a PlayStation 4 exclusive, so I'm definitely signed up for that one. Next, there was a trailer that I wasn't too sure what it was when I first started watching it. And there's this guy running through this forest, and it's like this wintry forest, and you see a little sniper rifle action. I'm like, is that Hitman? But I didn't think that they'd be doing Hitman, but it was in fact a Hitman reboot. They're rebooting the Hitman franchise. IO Interactive is the developer that's going to be working on it. And if it's on PlayStation, you're going to get 6 exclusive missions on PlayStation, which was kind of cool. Hitman Reboot, we'll see. I want to see more from it. It was kind of cool, but definitely want to see more from it. One game that I know that Microsoft is very jealous that Sony has exclusive rights to is Street Fighter V. And I love fighting games. I'm not great at them, as I've mentioned, but I love them. Street Fighter V is exclusive to PlayStation. They showed a really cool trailer for that, but it wasn't anything like blown me away. I knew that was there. I knew that Street Fighter V was exclusive to PlayStation. They just showed a really cool trailer at their presentation. Now, one thing that was quite impressive was when the developers Hello Games came on the stage, and he showed off No Man's Sky again. Now, No Man's Sky has been on E3 for like the past 3 years. And I'm waiting to see more from it, and he kind of showed us last night. It's a very, very large game in scale, and that's exactly what he was showing off last night on the stage. He went to, he showed a galaxy, and he kind of zoomed out, and he zoomed out, and he zoomed out, and zoomed out, and he said every star within that galaxy is a planet that you can go to. And that's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it, because there was thousands of stars. So we randomly picked one, went there. There were some mechs on the planet that he had to fight. There were some resources that he gathered from that planet. It was kind of cool. I don't know if No Man's Sky is going to be a disc-based game or a downloadable game, but it looks huge. I don't know if that's something that they want to put on a download. You might want to put that on a disc, because it looks absolutely expansive and almost limitless in what you can do in that game. Now, Media Molecule is famous for Little Big Planet and Tearaway. Which I enjoyed both games. Tearaway and Little Big Planet were really, really fun. But they came with something a little crazy. It's called Dreamz. and it's basically a game. I guess you can call it a game where you go in and you use the DualShock 4 controller to kind of paint, draw pictures, and add elements to those pictures, and then they kind of act out. I don't really know. I'm not sure what that game is, and that's what the gentleman that said that was on the stage for Media Molecule. He said you'll be scratching your heads for a little while after this when it takes a while to set in. So Dreamz was kind of cool. Destiny was on stage. Bungie was there with Destiny, and as I mentioned, I'm a Destiny fan, but I haven't really given it its attention recently because I've already given it so much attention. But the Taken King is the new content for Destiny. I believe it will have a physical release. There's more gear and things like that on PlayStation 4. You're going to get more gear, a couple more missions, and I think an exclusive strike on PlayStation 4. And it's launching September 15th of this year. So they showed off some really cool stuff for that. Also new subclasses for each character. The Warlock, the Hunter, and the Titan are all going to have new subclasses within this content, which is really cool for those Destiny players. I might get back into it. Not really sure, though, at this point. They then showed a trailer for Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which looks really cool with the female assassin. I think her name is Evie. She was really cool with her cane sword, and she was super brutal. Like, if you haven't seen that trailer, that was pretty deep. Assassin's Creed Syndicate, of course, is not exclusive to PlayStation. They were just showing a really cool trailer for it. They also announced an adorable game called World of Final Fantasy with these cute little Final Fantasy characters like Cloud Strife and other characters were there, and it's just a game called World of Final Fantasy. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be like. But then the game that I was most waiting for, they did give to me. They're remaking Final Fantasy VII, and it's not just available for download on PlayStation 4. It looks like they're completely remaking it with brand new graphics, which is going to blow me away. I know when I played Final Fantasy VII as a child, which strangely enough I believe came out in 1997, so we're approaching its 20-year anniversary. I had every character up to level 99, all the materia, everything in that game. I went hard on Final Fantasy VII. So to see them making that game with new graphics for PlayStation 4 is pretty exciting. Again, it's another remake. It's not anything groundbreaking, but it's pretty cool. I'll be excited to get that game when it comes out. At Sony's presentation, they also brought Project Morpheus, which is their virtual reality concept. And it was cool to see. I'm still not completely sold on the virtual reality yet. I definitely want to see more from it. But they did show that you'll be able to play multiplayer with the Project Morpheus. It seemed like there was some kind of like 3-on-3 battle arena game that they showed off that was playable at E3. So it seems like Project Morpheus is coming to completion and almost ready to be sent out to us. Now, how much is Project Morpheus going to cost? Because if there's a multiplayer game, that would indicate that each person would have to have a Project Morpheus headset. And is it online? Can we play Project Morpheus online, or does it have to be local? That's going to be a big component of whether this is a purchase and people are actually using it for multiplayer. Does everybody have to purchase an individual headset? Or is it local, where one person has to purchase every single headset? You know, guys, come over, let's play Project Morpheus. I've got 4 headsets. I don't know if that's going to happen, because if they're the price that I think they're going to be, around the $200 to $300, maybe even $400 price range, that's not happening in my house. Also, Sony announced a Kickstarter for the game Shenmue III. Shenmue 1 and 2 are both Sega franchises, and the last one was Shenmue 2 on Dreamcast. Now, they announced Shenmue 3 Kickstarter, and it seems like it's already reached its goal. So it seems like we don't have to do anything. That game is definitely going to be made. I did play Shenmue 2. It was a lot of fun. I wasn't expecting this one, so this was a nice announcement from Sony. And of course, they ended the show with an amazing Uncharted 4 trailer. A lot of Uncharted stuff. It was really cool. The different environments that they were in. There was a lot of driving in this trailer, so I don't know if driving will be a mechanic that we need to get used to in Uncharted 4. Sully was back. Nathan Drake was there. Their normal banter between one another was there. So it was pretty cool to see the Uncharted 4 trailer. Not much news about the Vita at all. So we still don't know what's the future of our Vitas. There was one game that was announced, and it was the World of Final Fantasy. It will be available for Vita as well. But other than that, there was no news about the Vita. And that's kind that's kind of concerning for those people that own a Vita. I was a little bit concerned there. So if I had to grade Sony's presentation from a 1 to 5, 5 being the best, I'd probably go 3.5 or 4. It was good. There was only a few games though that were announced that are exclusive to Sony, like Horizon Zero Dawn, which looks awesome, The Last Guardian, and the Final Fantasy VII remake. We already knew Uncharted 4 was coming. We already knew Street Fighter 5 was coming. There was not a lot of surprises there. So Sony did a good job, but I got to tip my hat to Microsoft on this one. Between those two, Microsoft definitely took a little bit of a lead in that regard. I'm excited to see Nintendo's presentation. In my opinion, they do not compete with Sony or Microsoft. They're on a completely different level. Every game that we see at Nintendo's presentation is almost guaranteed to be an exclusive, which is really cool from Nintendo. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you like what you've seen, hit subscribe, give me a thumbs up, share it with the homies. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys have an awesome day.